So Nathan, it's a third defeat to start the new season. Your thoughts on your overall performance?
Obviously, bitterly disappointed. It's not a great start for us, but we've got to move on from it. It's as simple as that. I think first half against the Wind, it was a pretty dominant performance from us with Limited United, but they've gone 1-0 up, and I think it was against a run of play with it's a mistake from our side. We've played the lad on side. And second half, you're going into it thinking, yeah, we're going to get on the front foot, but they started bright, and it was just littered with mistakes for us. And goals change games, as we've always said, and that second goal was the sucker punch for us.
Yeah, and in terms of the first half performance, you mentioned Whitby had quite a lot of the play. I think the one thing that was really missing though was probably that final third wheel, I think, that chance where we're getting the shots off.
Yeah, of course it was. It just wasn't bouncing for us right, or when we did get into wide areas, there were some good balls in from particularly Nicky and Priestley, especially from set pieces. And we just have enough aggression in there. We just weren't in the right place at the right time. So that's something we need to look at. But over 90 minutes today, it was, like I say, we're gutted, but it was just littered with mistakes, and that's the reason we've lost the game.
Yeah, and looking at the first goal, obviously you mentioned unmarked at the back post, played on side just before half time as well. One of the worst times to concede a goal there.
Yeah, listen, it's lazy on our part. When the ball goes backwards as it did, we've got to step forward 1 or 2 steps. We didn't do that, and ultimately that's what's played the lad on side. So it's about switching on. And like you've just said, it was it's a bad time to obviously score, but I think there was more than enough in us to get something from the game. But the second half performance, it wasn't quite good enough.
No, and in that second half, the second goal eventually coming from an error at the back, but there were sort of signs of that as well before. There weren't a couple of sloppy passes in the back before.
Yeah, from dependable players as well, just uncharacteristic mistakes. But they've happened. We got out of jail a couple of times. They've hit the post, and then a great defending by Johnny to get it way off the line. But the second goal's criminal. It can't happen. It's Northern Premier League. People are chasing you down. You don't get time on the ball, and it's a bad goal, but that took the wind out of our sails, and from that point it was always going to be hard to get back into it.
Yeah, a potential turning point could have been when FC United went down to 10 men, but even after that, really, it seemed that Whitby just struggled to create the chances. The best one coming to Roy Fogarty, just couldn't sort of get a shot away in the end.
Well, again, not good enough. We've got to be better in front of goal. At worst, we should have got the shot off, and we didn't. So it's one of them. United have gone down to 10 men. They're 2-0 up. Well, within the rights to soak up the pressure, and with a low block, that's what they did. They dealt with first balls, dealt with second balls, and we just didn't have enough to get round them. So just on the day, nowhere near good enough, and mistakes have cost us, and from that we don't deserve to get anything from the game.
No, and you mentioned about sort of a couple of errors, from uncharacteristic ones from so many dependable players. Obviously, how do you go about now sort of lifting the heads going into next few games? Obviously, it's pretty relentless still, isn't it, start of the season?
It is relentless, and football is ruthless. We've got to deal with it. We've got to get out of it quick. Just said to the lads, there's been some excellent play in all 3 games that we've had, but games aren't played over 45 minutes or 20 minutes. It's 90 minutes, and it's 90 minutes blood thunder, and you've got to produce, and you've got to be aggressive, and we need to do that over 90. I think if we do it over 90, we know we're more than capable of getting points, but at the moment it's just not clicking, and lads need to they need to reflect, take a look at themselves, and we need more from them. They need to work harder. So that's what we'll go do on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and looking at that game on Tuesday, it's probably up there one of the toughest away trips of the season, imagine, with a side only relegated last season.
Yeah, but listen, we could be playing South Shields or the better teams in this league. It doesn't faze me. We'll give anybody a game if we're on the metal. The big thing for us now is we need to start picking up points, and we need to do that by being a little bit more ugly than what we are. But yeah, listen, it's another game of football. It's another opportunity for us to try and get some points on the board. It's a nice pitch, it'll suit us, but we've just got to be a hell of a lot stronger than what we have been defensively. So, we'll look forward to Tuesday.
All right, thank you very much, Nathan.
All right.